Today we're going to solve a mission. We will conquer the AP calculus topics. Today we will start with derivatives. Okay, this is the quotient rule, and you usually do it with fractions. The equation is low d high minus high d low over low squared. The example question is x plus 1 over x plus 2. And then it's x plus 2 times 1, which because x, the derivative of x is 1, minus x plus 1 over low squared, which is x plus 2 squared, and you get 1 over x plus 2 squared. Power rule is y equals multiplying two different equations. It'd be f of x gx, derivative is f of prime of gx times g of x plus g prime of x times f of x, but you know, I wrote the equation rule. So the equation is y equals sine of x, cosine of x. The derivative would be cosine of x times cosine of x, because the derivative of sine of x is cosine of x just times cosine of x minus sine of x, because the derivative is cosine is sine of negative sine of x times sine of x, and you get that.
For the power rule, you use it for exponents like x to n. Derivative would be n times x to the n minus 1. The practice example would be x squared. Derivative is 2x to the x because you put the exponent of 2 in front of x and subtract it by 1, and you get 2x. For chain rule, it is an equation inside another equation. So the derivative would be f prime of g of x times g prime of x. Practice example is x squared plus 1 squared. Derivative would be 2 times x squared plus 1, because if you take the exponent in front times the inside derivative, which is 2x's, derivative of x squared is 2x.
Okay, so we are teaching you the related rate. Here's the question. The 20 feet ladder is being pulled away from the wall at the rate of 5 feet per second. What is the rate of the change in area beneath when the ladder is 8 feet away from the wall? So you can see here's the triangle that has 20 feet on the sides, which is the ladder's length, and the h is for the height base, is the b, and we know that b dB over dt is 5 feet per second, and we are looking for the rate of change of area, and we know that the base is 8 feet, but we don't know the dH over dt, which is the rate of change of the height. So we know the area of the triangle is half times b times h, and we can use that to find the dH over dt. We also need to find the h, so I'm using the b squared plus a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and I plug in b squared plus h squared equals 20 squared. Now I got 400 on the right side, and I subtract b squared from both sides, and I got h squared equals 400 minus b squared, and I square rooted both sides. Then finally I got h equals square root of 400 minus b squared. So that is the h for this problem. So now we know all these numbers, then we need to find the rate of change of area. So I found the derivative of the original function, which is the 0.5 times b times h. I used the product rule. Now it becomes 0.5 dB over dt h plus b times dh over dt. Then we plug in the numbers in the derivative I just found. So the h is square root 400 minus b squared, and dB over dt is 5 feet per second, and b is 5 feet. So I plug in all these I distribute it into the parentheses. Now I got 5/2 times square root of 336 plus 3 plus 8 times dh/dt. So now I got 5/2 times 18.33 plus 17.46. Now, so the final answer is 37.095.
Next, we'll be teaching disk method. From the given functions, you have to set them equal to each other in order to get the point of intersections. Then subtract x from both sides to get all the values in one place. You then simplify 1 being the upper bound and 0 being the lower bound. You also add pi as well since there's a circle. After that, you put the top curve minus the bottom curve and then you integrate it, and that turns to x squared over 2 and x cubed over 3. Then plug in the values 1 and 0 into your equation. You will eventually get pi over 6.
Question is, find the volume of the solid whose base is bounded by y equals x plus 1 and y equals x squared minus 1. The cross sections perpendicular to the x-axis are squares. Okay, this is how to find the volume of cross sections. Take the top curve, which is x plus 1, the bottom curve, which is x squared minus 1, and that's, you subtract them from each other to find the s side, because the area of a square is s squared. You need to square that. So you gotta, the point of intersections are -1 and 2, because when you plug it into both equations, you get the same value. So s equals x plus 1 minus x squared minus 1. You simplify it to get x squared plus x plus 2 equals s. So x squared would be -x squared plus x plus 2 squared. So the volume would be, you integrate this, the area of the square and dx. The lower bound and then upper bound is, lower bound is -1, upper bound is positive 2. You expand it and then you multiply everything. Then you get that big long equation. Then you simplify it. You add everything, subtract everything. You get this shorter equation, which you can anti-derive it easier here, which then I got x to the 5 or divided by 5 and so on. So I plugged in the upper bound into the as x minus the lower bound, and then I simplified. I got 56 over 10 plus 17 divided by 10 and get 73 over 10. These are the few topics we discussed today. I hope this video helped, and good luck. Today we are going to...
I really wanna stop, but I just got the taste for it. I feel like I could fly with the ball on the moon. Honey, hold my hand, you like making me wait for it. I feel like I could die walking up to the room. Oh yeah, late night watching television, but how we get in this position is way too soon.
Still recording.